Without further ado, Pastor Bubba Brewer.
Thank you. Great to be with you guys. Real quick, there's some Hershey Kisses coming around, so at least that way you can say you did get kissed tonight, all right? So, and I'm just going to give a devotional, okay? It's been such a great night. I didn't want to take any time away from our comedians who did a fantastic job. And it's good every now and then just to laugh. And the scriptures tell us that laughter is like medicine to the soul. So that's what we want to give you guys tonight. But I do want to talk about how to handle it when you've been dissed. And the guy I want to talk about, his name is Jabez. So let me just hop in this real quick. It's 1 Chronicles chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. It's in a genealogical passage where normally our eyes glaze over. It's the begats, begat, and we kind of speed read through these passages. But then it says, in verse 9, it says, Jabez was more honorable than his brothers, and his mother called his name Jabez, saying, because I bore him in pain. Wow, thanks a lot, Mom, right? And Jabez called upon the name of Israel, saying, oh, that you would bless me and enlarge my border, that you might be with me, that you would keep me from harm, so that it may not bring me pain. And God granted him what he asked for. I want to talk about how to handle it when you've been dissed, how to handle that, because it's going to happen to you. In the ancient Near East, when you were given a name, it was like a nickname. Okay, so Jabez means pain. Okay, he was labeled. Can you imagine growing up with that? Pain in the butt, supper time, pain in the butt. Oh, so pain in the butt, how was your day today at school? Pain in the butt, what do you want to be when you, he heard this his whole life, right? And so you, at some time in life, perhaps you have been dissed. You have been disrespected. You have been labeled. I had one of our single adults actually changed his relationship status to interrelationship. Like, dude, that's awesome, man. Who are you seeing? He said, oh, well, really no one. I just want to see what it felt like. I want to feel valued. I want to feel like, hey, somebody out there thinks I'm something. And but really, there wasn't anyone in his life. I've had some single adults tell me every time I have to check the box single, it reminds me of my status. Every time I hear a marriage illustration in church or people talking about their kids, it reminds me that I'm single. The world always wants to label you, all right? But God, he always wants to rename you. Okay, you'll always find that God likes to give new names to people. So I want to talk to you about how to handle this real quick in all of 5 minutes, what to do and what to look out for when you've been dissed. Okay, it's more of a Gen Y term, you've been disrespected, you've been overlooked, someone's not taking you seriously, someone's tried to harm you, maybe you came to a very bad relationship. How do you handle that? And we're told here simply the fact that, well, Jabez, he remains honorable, doesn't he? It says Jabez was more honorable than his brothers there in 1 Chronicles 4, 9a. What does it mean to be honorable? It means to be a person of integrity still. That means to be a person of character. In fact, in the legal system, we will call a judge what? Your honor, right? Excluding Chicago. But everywhere else, we refer to them as your honor. You count on them, that they're trustworthy. We're told that he remains honorable. So here's what happens when you get dissed. Someone breaks up with you, and now you are dating someone else. Someone breaks up with you, and some ugly things were said. Maybe it's just having to check that single box. Maybe it's your parents reminding you. Whatever it is, you don't have to like it, but it's not an excuse to get ugly. Okay, it's not an excuse to get ugly. Jabez, he remains honorable, even though he's been given this name that he grows up with, meaning pain. All right, and so here it's a head game that happens here. So the devil, he's been watching you. He knows the pathways to your soul. He knows your weak points. And we see a story, it's the story of Cain and Abel, right? I'm going to read it to you just real fast. It says, in the course of time, Cain brought to the Lord an offering of the fruit of the ground, and Abel also brought of the firstborn of the flock and of their fat portions. And the Lord had regard for Abel and his offering, but for Cain and his offering he had no regard. So Cain was very angry, his face fell. The Lord said, why are you angry? Why is your face fallen? If you do well, will you not be accepted? And if you do not do well, sin is crouching at the door. Its desire is for you, but you must rule over it. And when they were in the field, Cain rose up against his brother and killed him. We're not quite of a biblically literate culture anymore, but there used to be a phrase even, raising Cain. And it even appears pre-Gutenberg press, that phrase, raising Cain, and it meant to cause a ruckus because of disrespect. Okay, it's sometimes used in the word of a riot, in fact. Why? Because I want to make a point. I want to show people, I want to pay back. Like today, phrases we would use as, I'm going to get you, right? Or, revenge is best served cold. Or, I don't get mad, I don't get even. We hear those phrases. Those are more the phrases today of like raising Cain. But here's the root of Cain's bitterness. Did you notice what happened there? The root of his bitterness is the fact that his offering was not accepted, and to compound it, Abel's was accepted. And what does God tell him? Sin is crouching at the door. Anytime you're overlooked, anytime you're not promoted, anytime that they pick someone else, sin is crouching at the door for you. This is exactly what God tells Cain. You need to be on your highest level anytime you've ever been rejected. You've been on a lot of first dates, but you get a second, you need to have your guard up. Sin is crouching at the door. You go through a divorce and now your ex-spouse is getting ready to marry someone else. You need to have your guard up at those points. Sin is crouching at the door. It will simply mess you up. I'm not going to mention her name. There was a famous astronaut back in the year 2007. She went through a divorce. Her ex-spouse got remarried, all right, was dating someone. The woman drove 900 miles from Houston to Orlando to try and kidnap his new love interest. She wore a diaper along the way. Okay, she wore a diaper because she didn't want to have to stop. She wanted to make sure she could be there at the right time to try and kidnap his lover. Guys, disrespect, it will jack you up. Right? Sin is crouching at the door if you've been rejected. Right? It will cause you to start doing some weird things. Maybe, I hope not wear a diaper, but it can cause you to start doing some very weird things. You know, one of my not earliest memories, but about out of time here, but I was with my mom at the grocery store. We was at the checkout line, and this woman came by, and my mom said, "Well, you look nice today." And the woman said, "I look nice today, so that means I don't look nice other days?" And my mom's like, "No, I just mean I thought you were dressed or something." Well, I don't know how else to interpret it. How should I interpret something like that? You don't think I look nice most of the time. And she went off. Yeah, so we were in the car, and I was riding home with my mom, and I remember, even my little 6-year-old brain, I looked over at my mom and said, "Mom, that woman was like messed up, wasn't she?" Right? She's like crazy, right? My mom said, "Well, no, son, actually, no, her parents went through a divorce several years ago, and then she recently got married, and her husband has left her." And it's twisted her perspective so much that now she actually takes a compliment as an insult. Rejection had messed her up. Now remember what God says to Cain? Look, if you do the right thing, you'll be accepted as well. Just because someone else is getting promoted, just because someone else has been accepted, just because your ex-lover found someone else, it doesn't mean that God doesn't have an interest in you. God says, look, you do the right thing, you'll be accepted as well. There's someone for you. God has someone in mind for you. It doesn't mean you have to like it, but stay honorable. Be like Jabez, and your prayers will be answered. It doesn't mean you have to enjoy it, but the devil, he is going to see rejection as an unlocked door into your soul. Okay, so just game on those moments. Let me tell you one fast story, and I'll close it with this, I promise. Have you ever heard of James Webster Smith? I didn't think you did. I wouldn't expect me to. He was awarded the famous second lieutenant gold bars from West Point 123 years after he was expelled from school. 123 years, so who cares? Well, what happened is they found out that he was expelled for 2 reasons. One, he was from the South, and he was also an African American. And there really was no other reason. He had a teacher that was out to get him, and the teacher got him. He got expelled. But the West Point's critics say, hey, you know what, we need to right this wrong. Here's my point, though. Anytime we choose to live an honorable life, God will vindicate you. Okay? Sooner or later, God will vindicate you. Whether it's on this earth or in heaven, always in God's kingdom, honor comes to those to whom it's due. Stay honorable even if you've been disrespected. You know, and sometimes those scenes in life that we want to skip through, that we want to rush through, it's actually those scenes that if we're honorable during those seasons, those are the scenes that produce the good endings, right? Those are the scenes that produce a good story. Those are the scenes that people want to talk about. But eventually, those worthy of honor, you'll be vindicated. Your time will come. All you have to do is keep doing the right thing. And then prayer. You know, Jabez, some people say, well, it's kind of a selfish prayer he prays for, right? Well, first of all, it's straight out of the Bible. He simply articulates what's on his heart. God already knows the desires of your heart. Go ahead and articulate it. I used to have a professor in seminary, and at the very back of his Bible, he had 2 prayer lists. One prayer list is the stuff that you and I all pray for. And I want to see the gospel, spread in Bolivia. Yeah, I'm praying for one of my relatives to come to know Jesus as a Savior. Yeah, I'm praying for my wife's health. The stuff that all of us, to some degree, pray for. Then he had what he called his non-essential prayer list. And it was like the pyramids. And he showed us, I'd like to see the pyramids one day with my own eyes. He had World Series listed. Yeah, I would just like to be able to go to a World Series one day. What was fascinating was there was quite a few checks by these things. God had actually checked them off. Go ahead and ask. Go ahead and express whatever the desire of your heart is, because God already knows what it is anyway. Last point, I'll close with this. The thing that's cool about Jabez, he's not famous for any military victories. He's not famous for building any great worship centers, didn't part the Red Sea. The only thing he's known for is being a man of honor who prayed. And it says, and God granted him what he asked. So may God grant you what you're asking for as well. But remain honorable. Doesn't mean you have to like it. Okay, when you get disrespected, when you get overlooked, when they pick someone else, doesn't mean you have to like it. But remain honorable. It's not an opportunity to become ugly. And God will bless you and give you the desires of your heart as well. Amen? All right. So, I just need 5 more minutes from you. A few things before I forget. If you guys had a good time laughing tonight, my friends from KPXQ are here. I actually have a radio show I co-host on Sundays at 5 o'clock on AM 1360. Urge you to tune in, especially if you're driving downtown to our downtown campus at 6 o'clock. But they've got some flyers in the back as you walk out tonight. A comedy event they're having. I don't know if you've noticed, but man, I'll tell you what, clean comedy is the best comedy, right? And so they've also got some Christian comedians coming in. It's normally $12 for tickets, but tonight they're offering 2 tickets for the price of 1. It's on the other side of town, but it'll be worth the drive. So that's tomorrow night. I'd like for our life group leaders to stand up real quick, our connect group leaders, including Edith, if she's here, for our Spanish-speaking group. If you guys are in the room, so there's Jen, Lynn, Renee is here somewhere, hopefully. Yeah, okay, so Edith is here. So we do have a Spanish-speaking only group that's going to be starting very soon down in Mesa. And so I want to encourage you, as you walk out also, you'll see that information. We'll be meeting here again on March 6th. And that time is going to be called Singles Worship. And we're going to have a night of worship, and Pastor George Chadwick will be here. So we meet on the first Wednesday of each month collectively. I want to encourage you to invite your friends to come out just for some good, clean fun, some fellowship, and to learn God's Word. And real quick, I need to show you, it's just a 1-minute video clip. So if you would, turn your attention to the screen for this video clip, and I'll be back after these messages.
God warned me. He told me to build a boat. God has spoken to me. He will lead us to a new home. He has promised descendants as numerous as the stars. Oh, good morning. My name is Martin. God has sent me to set you free. The Lord brought us out from Egypt, promised us this land. Soon it will be ours. Joseph, I'm your home. David, you have forged God's nation on earth.
King of his people. What is his name?
Jesus. His name is Jesus.
Okay, the History Channel is actually going to be doing a series on the Bible beginning March 3rd. Some of you have probably seen the commercials for it. And what's wild is this time they actually have people who believe in the Bible who are going to be talking about the Bible. I mean, thank you very much. Finally. Followers of Jesus. to be providing some commentary. And I was like, man, I would like to give commentary on these things. And so I learned about this actually through Lee Strobel. We had him here a few weeks ago, and he said he was invited to be a consultant for it. He had some contract obligations, he couldn't do it, but said it's going to be pretty good. It's going to be kind of like Passion for the Christ, probably one of the next closest things. And so what we're going to have in our Connect groups that are meeting throughout the valley is we're actually going to have some DVD curriculum, much like some of you guys are already going through the greater series on that. So that's going to be happening in March. And so this is yet another reason. Make sure you sign up for the e-newsletter. Try to get in one of these Connect groups where we can just sit down and crack a Bible together and pray for each other. It's a great opportunity to grow together. We are out of time. I appreciate you guys giving me a few extra minutes. A lot of us will go to the coffee plantation down here on Scottsdale Road in Shea approximately. If you want to come and hang out with us, we still got some snacks out for you, some carrots and celery. And so, hey, we're in a recession. And so, anyways, it's great to see you guys tonight. Thanks for hanging out. And I'll be hanging out for a little bit and love to see you. God bless you guys. Have a great evening. Got this excellent video here for you.